XM Progress. The show is back on the air. Glad to have it back on the air. And here in studio with us is the host of the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur. How are you, man?
Great, Mark. How you doing, brother?
It's been a while, man.
I know. It's great to be back with you.
What brings you to the East Coast?
I was doing the Independent Film Project conference. Jim Rutenberg from the New York Times interviewed me for that about the history of the Young Turks and independent media.
How long the Young Turks been around? How long you guys?
Only 15 years. And you know why? What date we pick as our starting point? The very first show we did on Sirius Satellite Radio, the day that it launched, February 14, 2002.
All right, outstanding. Well, glad to have you. And folks, you can join us and see Cenk in the flesh. We're on Facebook.com/MakeItPlain, and his platform, YouTube.com/MakeItPlain. So you can check him out there as well. How's the show going? How's it feel being back on Sirius XM?
It feels fantastic. It feels like coming home. And so we spent a lot of time in Sirius and a couple of elections. And so I just have fantastic memories of here. And it feels good to be back on radio and on Sirius particularly. I remember in these studios, I had a debate with Mario Cuomo about the death penalty for about an hour.
Really?
Back when I was a bad guy.
Right.
And I'd like to think that I won that debate, but it turns out over the course of time, I've come to believe he won the debate.
Speaking of these studios, I guess they've changed a lot since last time you were here. We've gotten modernized and
but it's always looked good. It looks a little better now. It looks a little bigger now. I feel that it was smaller before.
Yeah, some of them were, but I think the way we redesign them, it gives the perception that they're bigger. But we'll get there.
Yeah, well, that's all that matters in media, I hear, perception.
And when this first got started, I mean, we're trying to, or at least I'm trying to catch up with you in terms of the video piece, because YouTube is the most popular platform you're on. People can see you every night live.
Yeah, so we're on live on YouTube 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern.
Right.
Obviously on here we're a little tape delayed, which you should, if you're listening to Sirius and you're listening to this channel, you should listen to us here obviously later at night. But yes, we built the big audience on YouTube, but now it's also on Facebook too. So about 200 million views a month.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Impressive. So obviously a lot going on in the news, a lot of discussion really on your broadcast in terms of your coverage about the Democratic Party and the state of Democratic Party. We've been having a lot of discussion here. What will it take to bring unity to all the factions within the Democratic Party?
I'm immediately going to be a bull in a china shop here. Okay. I don't really want unity. And I think it's not possible. So let me explain why. So first off, do I want unity in opposing Trump? Yeah, of course. Right. So it depends. It depends on the situation. So now they're trying to repeal Obamacare again. Right. Do I want unity on that? Of course. I don't want any Democrat to break ranks.
Right.
But if they say unity in getting behind our establishment candidate in the 2020 primaries, my answer is going to be hell no. Unless you'd like unity behind a progressive candidate, then okay, great. You get behind me. And so if they don't get behind Bernie Sanders, who's the most popular politician in the country, then they don't want unity. So just stop pretending you want unity. You want conformity. So it depends on who we're talking about and what we're talking about. And so the other thing I don't want unity on is I believe in primaries. So Senator Joe Manchin ain't going to get no unity from me. So these conservative and Democrats are not going to get any unity from me. They're going to get primaries.
So you're convinced Bernie's going to run?
No, I'm not convinced. I don't know.
So what if he doesn't run? I mean, we got to do something, right?
Yeah. Well, we got to do someone just as progressive, if not more so.
You've kind of singled out Kamala Harris as being establishment.
No, not yet. So that one. So look, I'm trying to keep as much of an open mind as I can. Some folks, the jury's in, right? So Joe Biden's a nice guy. It's hard not to like Joe Biden, but I mean, he's been in the establishment for quite some time, et cetera, right? So that's pretty clear. Schumer, establishment. We know that. He's not running for president. I'm just giving it as an example, right? Cory Booker, sad day, establishment. No question about it. So I'm done with him. Kamala Harris is new. And so she's done some good things. She's did one bad thing with Steve Mnuchin. I have more of an open mind there. The cause for concern with Kamala Harris is that Hillary's donors and staff have flocked to her. So that scares me.
866-99 series 866-997-4748. Where are you on the race issue? There's a lot of this debate about identity politics. Where are you on that?
Yeah, so I'm super clear on that. And so first off, I started this group. I helped to start this group called the Just Democrats. And the reason, and we just picked the name, right? So Justice Democrats. Why justice? For economic justice and social justice. So on social justice issues, we are not going to give an inch. Yes, Donald Trump's a white supremacist. Okay. And he is Islamophobic, anti-Semitic, racist, you name it, he's it, right? And to us, it is the most elementary thing in the world that everyone should have the same rights. And that is also the most American thing in the world. So if people want to say, no, but gay people shouldn't have the same rights, or, yeah, I know blacks get arrested 4 times the rate for marijuana, but I don't care. I don't think it's a real issue. Or I know that statistically they're much more likely to be shot when unarmed by cops, but I don't think it's a real issue. Well, no, we don't agree, and we'll fight you to the end on it. Okay, so we demand equality and justice. Now, on economic justice issues, I think that we're all united. You know who gains from moving the minimum wage up from $7.25 to $15? Everybody. Black, Latino, white. And we don't have to make separations there. There's no reason to make any distinctions there. So, you know who benefits from free college? Everybody. You know who benefits from Medicare for all? It's in the title. All, everybody. So you can have economic justice and social justice at the same time. I think sometimes establishment Democrats use social justice as a wedge within the party. And I think that a lot of times they're the ones that are driving disunity while pretending to be for unity. So, for example, when, progressives fight for things like the increased minimum wage, I don't know, out of nowhere, somebody will come up with a charge of racism. And I'm like, what on God's green earth are you talking about? And
I haven't seen that. Give me who.
Look, you even look at an establishment candidate the wrong way, and Neera Tanden and Joy Reid and others will be down your throat about sexism, racism, and I literally don't even know where they're coming from. I'm like, wait, explain to me how in the world that's sexist or racist. And they'll just throw that. And by the way, Mark and the audience, you guys don't have to trust me on it, and you don't even have to go back, because this is what I do all the time. You will see it going forward. You'll see. Like Bernie Sanders got accused of those things 1,000 times when they at the same time as accusing him of being the most liberal senator in the country. Well, which one is it? Right? And so, and you will see it going forward, whether it's Bernie or a progressive candidate, almost no matter who they are, they will be accused of that.
Well, but I think,
and by the way, not by the right wing, but by the establishment.
Well, and again, I think that's why we can't ignore the unity, because I see it kind of both ways. I think there were some unfortunate things that happened during the campaign on part of the Sanders campaign that brought questions of race into question. He wasn't being racist, of course, but when you say things like the Southern state primaries don't matter, where there are a majority of black voters, that offends black voters.
I don't know that he ever said that, Mark. I mean, some of his supporters might have said that in dismissing those primaries that he lost.
Well, yeah,
but I don't remember Sanders saying
I'm paraphrasing.
Okay, that's
yeah. So, I mean, there was a dismissiveness around the campaign. Was at one point or another dismissive about those Southern primaries. Then some of his supporters, not him, that's why I brought up identity politics, have been outspoken about identity politics, and some of them have been very dogmatic about not dealing with issues of race and saying we can't afford to if we're going to get the white working class voters back. If we had not dealt with race, then some of those white working class voters, and if Bernie had been the nominee, of course, as well, some of those same white working class voters that voted for Trump would not would have voted for Bernie. And then lastly, you know, when the term establishment is thrown around. So to some in the Democratic Party, I mean, there are a lot of African American women who have positions of influence in the party who don't consider themselves establishment and are not considered by the Black community to be establishment. It also doesn't help when and mind you know, Corey's got far more contradictions than Kamala Harris, but it becomes conspicuous when the three potential Democratic runners, like candidates like Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Deval Patrick, Deval Bain Capital, for God's sake, but be that as it may, they all happen to be African American, and out of hand, they are dismissed right out of the gate. So that causes a level of tension. One of your own reporters then even accused Maxine Waters of assaulting him. And that was not true. So that's where Joy is coming from. I happen to know that. So there's just this tension and this confrontation, you know, between African Americans. It has been alleged that Kamala, the establishment wants Kamala so she can't be attacked. If she's held accountable, people will be accused of racism. That's a conspiracy theory. That's why the establishment is flocking toward her, so she can't be held accountable, because if she is, you'll be accused of racism
and sexism.
So I mean, it's kind of, you know, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Are people charging racism, or is that conspiracy theory have a tinge of racism unto itself to suggest that somebody's going to put a candidate out there just so they can't be held accountable because they're Black and a woman?
Yeah. So there's a ton of things to say there.
Okay.
So I look, I'll just touch on the southern states for one quick second. It was just because they were earlier in the primary process, and it's harder for someone with less name recognition like Bernie Sanders to do better in the earlier primaries. He did, but he spent a ton of time in Iowa and New Hampshire, but he couldn't spend a ton of time in southern states. So if there was anyone on the Sanders side who dismissed those states, it certainly wasn't because of the demographic breakdown. It was because they were earlier on. And right now they're moving the California primary to early. And by the way, there's a good chance that that's a trick to help Kamala and to help an establishment candidate with more money. And so,
but who was the they though? Who?
Oh, I'll tell you who. It's the Clinton team. So like Donnie Fowler was quoted all over Politico about that California primary being moved up. He was gloating like, no one that is going to be what they call a retail candidate. That means a populist progressive is going to have enough time or money to be able to conduct that California primary. Now it's going to be fifth, right after, you know, Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and Nevada. So they're kind of rubbing your face in it, like, haha, we did a trick again. And so, like, the people with the money, the big donors in the Democratic Party, it's not like their number one issue is, oh my God, I got to make sure we have social justice on race, etc. No, they're looking for somebody, and I'm not saying it's Kamala Harris. I'm saying but they know that they're comfortable with some folks and not comfortable with other folks. So if you've got a real progressive, they are totally uncomfortable. But if you got someone who's going to play ball, they're comfortable. So I don't know. Jury's out on Kamala. No, the Cory Booker, Deval Patrick, Kamala Harris, that's a trick. Okay. No progressive actually singled those three out. No one on Sanders' team did. No, all of a sudden in the press, there's an article about those three. Now, wait a minute. The Sanders people didn't pick those three. They constantly talk about how Schumer, Pelosi, Biden, you name it, right? And all of a sudden, somebody in the press that picks those three and goes, aha, you see that? Why are they attacking those three? Well, nobody attacked those three. You picked those three out of a hat. It's a trick. It's a trick meant to divide us on issues of race.
By whom? Who's doing the trick?
The big donors, the Democratic consultants. You know who the number one problem is?
Not the Russians.
No, not the Russians.
No, no, because that's what I think it is. I don't see how it benefits the Democrats to do that. Like I had a call last week on this show and said you attacked all three. I didn't necessarily believe him.
No, that's not true. Okay, I not said one word about Deval Patrick.
So I believe that. So the Democrats didn't tell that guy to make that call. we're still under this regime of social media and botism, so that wherever that article comes from, wherever it appears on social media, people buy into it. And then if somebody like you says, well, we need to hold them accountable, people conflate the two together. I don't think that's the Democrats. I think that's still the influence of other factors meddling. I mean, I think their goal is to keep us divided. I don't necessarily think that's the goal of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
I mean, are we naive about Russia?
No, not at all. So just real quick, couple of those points. First off, during the primaries last time around, New York Times had a great story later after the election was over that a lot of the people who were pretending to be Bernie bros and actually saying sexist and sometimes racist things were actually bots from Macedonia. So when you get angry at someone online, whether it's a Clinton supporter or a Sanders supporter, whichever side, understand that there's a decent chance they're actually from Macedonia and they're trying to divide you. I mean, that's literal, right? So don't buy into that. Be careful about that stuff. And look, on the issue of race, people say, oh, all this, and they put out that propaganda. And look, there are some folks in the Democratic establishment. They don't want change. They don't. Okay. And change scares them. So, but if for those folks who make those wild accusations, no problem. You want a black woman president? Let's do Nina Turner tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow. Deal. Nina Turner. Okay. So are they going to say yes? Watch this, Mark. No way they say yes to Nina Turner. No way. Because she's an actual progressive. She's a strong African-American woman. She doesn't shy away from anything.
But by saying that, you're automatically saying that Kamala is not a progressive.
No, again, jury's totally out on Kamala. She's done so little, right?
But she just got in the Senate.
No, I'm saying her whole career and as Attorney General, she did one thing that was wonderful when she fought the big banks and along with Schneiderman. And she was among the top 2 attorney generals doing that. So that was terrific. She let Mnuchin off the hook. That was bad. So, and by the way, Mark, one of the reasons you might pick Kamala is because she doesn't have much of a track record, which makes it really hard to, if all the Clinton donors go over there and then you say, well, I mean, I'm like I just said, I'm a little worried that all the big money Clinton donors are in this camp, whatever camp they went to. If they went to Nina's camp for some reason, I'd be like, Nina, what's going on? Why do they like you so much? I'd ask her, right? And maybe there's a great answer to that. I don't know. Or she's super hard to attack. It's a blank slate, kind of a layup.
Would you agree that even Bernie can't win the Democratic primary without the black vote?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
And he couldn't win the presidency without the black vote.
Of course not. No.
Okay. So I guess what I'm saying, and I mean, I'm to be clear, I've made no decision on Kamala or anyone else, but I guess the problem is when an African-American who to most has, whether she has a big track record or not, she also has no negatives per se either. She hasn't been around long to have it. When people see her as under attack, it further, I think, alienates the black vote that even Bernie will need. And so anybody who's perceived as a Bernie supporter attacking Kamala Harris, that doesn't help Bernie.
Well, so here's the thing, Mark. I mean, at some point there's going to be a primary, and at some point people are going to run against each other. And if Kamala Harris is my favorite candidate in the bunch, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris, and I'm going to back her, and I'm going to back her super strongly. If she's not my favorite candidate, and then I'm going to oppose her. Period.
Okay. All right. 866-99 Sirius. Let's get a couple quick calls in. Cenk is here. Young Turks airs at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific here on Sirius XM Progress. Back. We're happy to have the Young Turks back. Jeremy's in Georgia. Jeremy, God bless you. Good morning. Get woke. Get ready for impeachment. Go right ahead.
What's going on, brother?
What's happening? What's happening? What's going on?
You talking about the black vote? No, me being a black man. I'm telling you, with Kamala Harris, all I smell is an Obama remix. She comes out, she takes the safe road. And to me, being a black man, with what's going on in America right now,
what safe road has she taken?
She come out speaking against DACA, things that are, kind of establishment issues. Never once have I heard her speak about anything about black people. My thing is with a black candidate,
she's leading. I mean, she signed on. She and Bernie got together, and let me just say this: there was concern in both camps as to the very thing Cenk and I are talking about. Bernie didn't like his supporters attacking Kamala. They came together and they agreed she needed to be on this single or Medicare for all bill. But her own portfolio is this legislation for bail reform, which is very progressive. I mean, she's kind of in the lead on that. You may not be aware of that, but she's out front on this issue of bail reform based on her experience as a prosecutor. And in terms of her being the Obama remix, was Obama bad to you, caller?
Well, I'm gonna put it like this: 8 years of a black president. Well, I may not know. I may be in the dark. I'm not, trying to start anything like that. But explain to me what exactly Obama did for black people during that time.
Nothing, I guess. I don't know, but I don't have time to get into all that. But I think we know. I think we know what he did.
What?
I mean, he wasn't Malcolm X, but I don't know that we'll ever get that.
Look, there's a lot that Jeremy's saying that I agree with, to be honest. So, Mark, there's a lot of what you're saying I agree with. Yes, look, it's a good thing that she fought for DACA. It's a good thing that she's fighting for bail reform, and she was second for Medicare for all. And some people say that's a calculation. Great. If she's on the right side based on a calculation, I'll take it. I'm super happy about that. And I think she did a great thing by being number 2, signing on to Medicare for all, right? But at the same time, I just want him to be much more aggressive. Marijuana being illegal is insane, and it leads to mass incarceration. And I'm sick of it.
Black people especially.
Exactly. And to me, any politician that isn't speaking out about, wait a minute, whites and blacks smoke marijuana at the same exact rate, but blacks are arrested at 4 times the rate. That is a gross injustice. And that injustice should not stand for one more day. And so if you've got any degree of power, and this is my main problem with Al Franken, my God, man, when are you going to grab a mic? When you're a United States Senator, stand up and do something. And so to me, I'm with Jeremy. They seem to be doing the bare minimum. We just need more than that.
Thank you for your call, Jeremy. Maddie's in Connecticut. Maddie, God bless you. Good morning. Get ready for impeachment. Go right ahead. You're on with Cenk of the Young Turks, 20 minutes past the hour. Go right ahead.
Cenk, are you a registered Democrat?
No, I'm independent. No, that's not true. I switched to Democrat to vote for Bernie Sanders.
You still a Democrat?
Okay.
Now?
So you know what?
Yeah.
I have zero. What you have to say, I have zero to hear. I don't want to hear about it.
Okay, good. Then I don't want to hear about you. Hang up right now. Hang up and stop listening.
Maddie, he said he's a registered Democrat now. He is.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
Why are you still listening?
Why am I still listening? Because I care what Mark has to say.
All right.
Because I know he's a real person.
I know. I'm a robot. I like to fight for progressive causes much more than you, but somehow because you're a milquetoast Democrat, partisan clown.
You get to speak for our party. You don't get to do that.
Yay, okay? Team Democrat. Do you have a cheerleader outfit on? Right now, are you in a cheerleader outfit? Do you have pom-poms?
You are partially responsible for having Trump in the White House.
No, you are. You picked a miserable candidate like Hillary Clinton. We told you she was a miserable candidate. We told you Bernie Sanders was doing better in every single poll by 12 points, and we wouldn't have had Trump in office. It is 100% your fault.
Bernie lost the primary, Cenk.
I know, because you voted for Hillary Clinton and you were wrong. Are you going to apologize to me because I was right and you were wrong?
But Cenk, Hillary won.
Hillary won the primary. I'm saying you shouldn't.
She won in general. She beat Trump.
Unfortunately, she didn't.
No, she did. I mean, mathematically, she beat him, and it was. We know all the other ways it was rigged. So she couldn't have been. She won the popular vote. She couldn't have been a terrible candidate.
No, look, the electoral system is maddening. We should be rid of it immediately. And I wish we didn't have it and Hillary Clinton was president, not Donald Trump. But that is not the system we have, unfortunately. So she didn't win. If she won, she'd be in the White House.
But it's not accurate to say she was a terrible candidate.
No, anybody who loses to Trump, Mark, come on.
But she didn't.
I could beat
lose
Trump with both hands tied behind my back.
But that's the point. She did not lose to Trump. She won the popular vote, except for some anomalies that amounted to a total of 110,000 votes in 3 states. That sooner or later we're probably going to trace directly to either Russia and or voter suppression, which we know is real. She's the president. And then but
she isn't, Mark. But she isn't. So I mean,
but the fact that she won the popular vote, except for those 110,000, that does not make her a terrible candidate.
No, Mark, anyone that's within 10 points of Trump is a terrible, terrible candidate.
So you think Bernie would have won?
Oh, Bernie would have crushed him.
He would not have been hacked. It wouldn't have been the same thing going on to prevent him from what you think.
Yes, but look, it was actually 78,000 votes in those 3 states. So was Russia a factor? Sure. Was Comey a factor? Everything. The weather was a factor. So if anything goes the right way for her, she wins. But she didn't win. And Bernie Sanders had a 12-point lead on Trump on election day. I know they would have run the campaign. I know they would have hacked him. But they would have had to wear down a 12-point lead. And maybe they would have worn it all the way down to 4 points. But he still would have won. So whereas Hillary came in with enormous negatives, ran the most incompetent campaign of my lifetime, and lost to a guy who had a popularity rating of 37% on election day. You can't be a worse candidate than Hillary Clinton was. She screwed us all. She betrayed us all. She ran a campaign full of arrogance and hubris and led to Donald Trump. So no excuses for Hillary Clinton. She was a candidate. It is 100% her fault that we lost and we have Trump in office.
All right. Cenk Uygur, folks, the Young Turks airs every night here now, back on Sirius XM Progress at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. It's delayed, but you can still get it. Check it out. Glad you're back here on Sirius XM. How long are you in New York?
Just today's the last day. I gotta head back and do the show tomorrow.
Okay, well, I have to come out to California and see you sometime.
Mark, I'd love that. Seriously,
yeah, no, really.
If you're in LA, you got to come on our power panel on Fridays.
I'd love to, man. I'd love to. That's Cenk, folks. We'll get ready to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. The National Museum of African American History and Culture Deputy Director is next, so don't go away. Sirius XM Progress 127, Resistance Radio. Get woke, get ready for impeachment. This is MIP.
Wake up, everybody.